What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another bonus balance update. Today we have 11.7, and this is going live tomorrow. If you don't remember, 11.7 brought a nice array of items, new and old, quote unquote new, as these are all technically new, are technically old, but they brought it back in a new fashion, except for the Shield of the Phoenix, although technically it's an old item as well. If you want to get technical, because it was old Glad Shield. Anyways, so there's a lot of things that need to get balanced, specifically with Shifter Shield. I think Haste and Fatalis needs to be tweaked a little bit. I think Shield of Phoenix needs to be tweaked a little bit. Can't really think of much, but Shifter Shield definitely needs to be tweaked. That item is absolutely busted, and you're seeing it on every single god. I did take a look at this before, so there aren't really any spoilers, but that's kind of what I want to talk about. And I think Hylian Lion definitely needs a buff. That item is just dog water. But here we are. If you would like to take a look at this yourself, I will have the URL in the description down below. But otherwise, we're going to go ahead and get into this. This goes live tomorrow, by the way. All right. Starting off with items, we got Warlock Staff. Warlock Staff has actually been in the meta a lot. I think it gives you like 400 health. It's a very good item. Percent pen. Everyone building Shifter Shield, percent pen is going to be obviously important. As well as health damage related items like Soul Reaver, E-Staff, and Kins. But Warlock Staff, fix an issue where the evolved version of this item did not properly receive the buff from the 11.7 main patch. Really? If you don't remember, I think Warlock Staff gave you an extra 100 health. So that wasn't just in there, huh? That's not good. At least that's good there. So you'll now be getting the proper buff from 11.7. Shield of Phoenix, added clarification to description on the amount of heals per ability. I'm pretty sure it was kind of obvious, no? 2% health and mana. It can be reduced by anti-heal. I'm not entirely sure what needs more clarification. On top of that, I think Shield of Phoenix needs to be a little bit nerfed. Not like too much. Not the craziest item, but it is very good on those gods that you know utilize it really well, like King Arthur, Achilles, Cucullin, Artio, Cthulhu, you know, all these guys that can really take advantage of this. And I think it's a little bit too potent, but you know, reducing it by a little bit should be what we should be doing here. As it is just old Glad Shield, if you guys remember, which was OP, and it is sort of OP right now. Shifter Shield. Decreased health from 300 to 250. Decreased passive physical power from 30 to 20. Decreased magical power from 45 to 30. So now you're getting 10 less power for physical, 15 power less for magical, and you're decreasing the health by 50. Let's see what they say. The clear standout this patch, Shifter Shield has found its way into numerous builds for characters outside its intended demographic. As such, we are lowering its power and generally decreasing its stat efficiency. I'm going to be honest. They didn't touch any of the protections, so you're still getting as much protections as you would with Gauntlet of Thebes. 50 health I don't think is enough to get rid of the fact that Gauntlet of Thebes doesn't, you know, it's still very, very good. And the fact that this still gives you 20 to 30 power depending on which class you build this on, I don't think that's enough. I honestly think this should be 150 health. It gives you 5 stats. The stats should not be anywhere close to what an actual defense item gives you. If a defense item gives you 300 health, then Shifter Shield, which is a hybrid item, should give you half of that, or even less. 250 health. Let's go look at what fully stacked Gauntlet of Thebes health gives you. Okay, I'm just wrong. Fully stacked Thebes gives you 200 health and 45 protections. Keep in mind, when you go below 75% health with the Shifter Shield, you're still getting 50 of each prot, plus 250 health, plus the extra power, plus the continuous 25 HP 5 that it still gives. This item is still, I don't know what they're doing. I don't think they know what they're doing. They should have went way harder in the paint. Hybrid items should not give you stats that regular tank items don't give you, and more. Shifter Shield is a 5 statted item if you include the passive. If not, it's 4 statted, and those 4 stats are better than regular statted items like Gauntlet of Thieves. You're still building this, and I even think you're still building this on gods that don't even go, that need to go shift your shield. This is ridiculous. I think they need to do way more than this, in my opinion. Regardless, let's go move on. Archdruid's Fury. In Joust specifically, Archdruids has been finding its way into every single build. I almost built this on every single god when it comes to warriors, guardians, and even assassins. And yeah, it's very good. Gives you NP5, gives you damage, gives you a lot of protections. It gives you, it gives you so much for how cheap it is as well. So usually I like to build this on either in the early or late game, depending on what I want to value more. MP5 is a very important stat. So they decrease base damage per stack from 30 to 25, so you can get up to 6. So 6 times 5, an extra less than 30, or it's about 30 damage, I believe, is taking it from Archdruid's passive. So nothing crazy. Not gonna be, it's 30 power, so it's a little bit of power, or I'm sorry, damage. That can still be mitigated, by the way. So it's a small one, and I think it probably needed it. Archdruid's Fury is a very good item, and I still think it is a very good item even after this. But tweaking it a little bit, I think, is a good adjustment. Shield of Thorns in each individual, or in its base form and its upgraded versions, is getting a decreased base damage from 100 to 85, so 15 power. And overall, I think this is absolutely warranted. I've been building Shield of Thorns a lot and I've been seeing it a lot, and you just do so much damage, and they don't even need to be attacking you in order to get that damage. You do up to like 250 damage to anyone, like, or a little bit less depending on how much they hit you. You can just pop it for an extra 150 damage, for example. They don't even need to hit you, and it's a lot of damage. It's just basically like a Sunder, but like all around you, and it's very, very, very good. So I'm glad they're reducing by a little bit. 15 seems a little bit. And I was gonna say it's a little not enough, but I think it's fine. I think 15 is fine. Kin size and Soul Reaver, I did see these ones specifically, and I even wrote a little memo about it just so I could get it in my mind, like everything about what this buff actually is, so you guys can understand my thought process. So Kin size and Soul Reaver are getting buffed, decreasing damage scaling health floor from 2250 to 2k, meaning that you're going to get the extra damage scaling. So the damage scaling health floor is now 2000 instead of 2250, meaning that you're going to get the extra scaling for how much health they have, which means you get more damage from it. It's going to be a lot lower, so you're going to actually be scaling more damage based on their health, percentage of their health at around 2k rather than 2250. So it's actually going to be, you're actually going to be doing more damage around that 2k than you would before, as the scaling up from the floor to the ceiling has now widened. And same thing with Soul Reaver. So I'm going to read this. This is what I wrote. They're buffing this due to pre 9.5 changes, making everyone have less health, meaning the extra scaling from Soul Reaver doesn't apply as easily, similar to Kins as well. Most squishies building no health get close to 1800 health, which is pretty far away from 2250. So when they also buy items like Warlock Staff or Shifter Shields or even Ethereal Staff, they weren't taking the extra damage they would have been taking when everyone had more health. So basically, pre 9.5 made it to where everyone's health got decreased. So at like level 20, you're getting up to like 1800 health without bending any health items as a squishy. When you buy items like Warlock Staff or anything that gives you health, you're still not reaching that 2250 floor because of the pre 9.5. You were beforehand when everyone had a lot more health, but now you're not. So the extra scaling didn't really affect them as much as they will now that the ceiling, or I'm sorry, the floor is at 2k. So now that it's 2k health minimum to scale up, percent health damage, you're now getting punished for building items like Warlocks and Shifters, for example, which I think is good, as before you would build these items and not get past 2250 threshold, like I said. And if you haven't been seeing the Shifter Shield meta, you're lucky you, but every single guy, it's like a triple tank meta again. Every mage or even hunter are building Shifter Shield, which is disgusting. It's so annoying. And because your Kins / Soul Reaver doesn't scale up, it means you're not actually getting as much damage for the benefit of them getting 300 extra health. Because you got to remember, 18 plus 300, 2100, 2250. Now it's going to be 21. So you're going to be doing a little bit more damage, which should decentivize some of that, but it probably won't. And also this works specifically for tanks as well. It's an overall adjustment, but I think for squishies, you'll actually start scaling a little bit more. To those who build a regular damage build with items that don't give a lot of health, that doesn't change anything. Yeah, so if you're not building any health, then you're still getting 1800, which means you're not reaching that 2000 floor for Kins or Soul Reaver. It's just helping for those who build more health and get that health online earlier. So it's more or less punishing the health related builds around and a little over 2k health that has been valuable, as getting more health when high res has reduced it inherently via 9.5 Reaver is obviously going to be good. So, you know, if high res is reducing all your health, you're going to want to buy some health items, as that's going to be more valuable. And then obviously Soul Reaver is going to do more damage quicker to tankier gods who get to that 2k health, but it also widens the gap by 250 health. Remember, we're reducing the floor by 250 right here. So, you know, from 2250 to I think it's 2700, something like that. You're like right here, but once you reduce it by 250 health, now it's 2000, like over here. So it was like this before, for example, and now that because it's 2250 to 2000, now it's like widening it a little bit. So keep that in mind, as you're not going to be doing the scaling is going to be a little bit slower throughout that span, within that span, because it still reaches that 9% cap of extra scaling, 9% extra damage, 9% extra health, physical damage to them. If you don't know, skins basically, it does percent damage of health, and it transmits it to physical damage, so skins can still be mitigated by protections, if that makes sense at all. But yeah, so it's gonna the scaling between 2000 to 2700, I believe, is the ceiling. Is gonna make the gap that much larger. So the scaling in between 2000 to 2700 is gonna be slower. But again, this is a change affecting everyone. Hopefully that makes sense. If you have to, I guess, rewind, I guess you can, but hopefully that makes sense. It makes sense to me, obviously, but that's basically what I just wrote down in like a really quick explanation. So if it doesn't make sense, you can always just ask me, and I can make a better explanation, text. And then obviously the Kins and Soul Reaver thing, transmitting health, the percent of health they have. So let's say 9% of let's say you're building Kins and you're doing 9% of their health as damage. It's not true damage, so you're not doing an extra 9% of just health damage in each auto. You're doing 9% health damage, and it gets transmitted into physical power, in which physical power can be mitigated. That's what that makes sense for. So Soul Reaver, same thing for magical. My opinion on this, I think Soul Reaver definitely need this because it's abilities. It's proccing on abilities, and it just wasn't doing all that great for people who I mean, it's still a really good item, obviously, but with the pre 9.5, you just weren't getting as much benefit from it up until late game. So you're actually gonna be doing more, and especially to those squishies who happen to build any tank stats. And even you're gonna be doing more damage earlier on, because I mean, tanks get to 2k health it's just gonna make it to where it does more damage a lot quicker. Now Kins, on the other hand, you're doing this per auto. Kins was already a fucking really good item. I'm not entirely sure why we buffed Kins. In my opinion, I think Kins was already in a very good spot, or arguably could have been nerfed, because this item is actually, you're thinking per auto, you're doing upwards of 9% health damage turning into physical damage. So I mean, like, you're doing a fuck ton of damage with Kins, which is really ridiculous when you think about the fact that you can get up to 2.5 attack speed, and you can just do that. I mean, think about it. I played against a Cthulhu, and I was playing Hoi Yi, and I even built shifter shields, the cringe build. I was hitting an auto for like 150 per auto. Like an extra 150 damage per auto is ridiculous. And you're at like a 2.5 attack speed. That's not okay. I don't think that's the difference between this and Kins is that this is per ability and this is per auto. I don't think there's the difference is not even close. So I think Kins was, I don't know why we did this. Kins is broken now. So you buy Kins on every hunter. And then Soul Reaver. And honestly, I think you build Kins even quicker. I think Kins is probably going to be like your third item slot. Now that the threshold's at like 2K, I think you buy Kins at, you know, you go your starter, Aussie, XE Dom, XE / Dom / Shifter Shield, and then you go straight into Kins. And then, I mean, you just pick up any other items you want. Because that is a gross. But that's how I feel about that. Anyways. Going on the gods, Ymir, Frostbite description updated to properly state that enemies affected by Frostbite deal 15% less damage. Okay, just a description update, but that's good, I guess. Erlong Shen, don't remember, Erlong got a knockup, and it's making him really good. Decreased base health from 485 to 475, decreased health per level from 85 to 82, so making him a little less tankier via health. Spot weakness, this is one, decreased damage from 12 to 52 to 10 to 50, so an extra 2 damage less, which is per auto, which is not, I mean, it's small, and over time, because he's autoing, it's going to make an impact, so I guess it makes sense. Decreased life steal from 4.5 to 22.5, from 4 to 20, so a little less, just making it to where it's like, he's not like the most OP god in the game, but just, you know, small tweaks, makes sense. RDO partial revert, decreased heal from 40 to 200 to 40 to 120. Yeah, I guess the healing was just too much, I suppose. That with Shield of Phoenix, what they say up here. I'm not sure if we should have done this. I think maybe nerfing Shield of Phoenix instead of nerfing the guys that use Shield of Phoenix may be the play, but that's just my upstream versus downstream approach, but that's okay, I guess. Horus has a shift. Interesting. Decreased protection reduction debuff from 10 to 30 to 5 to 25. Okay, so you're losing less because you get protection reduction debuff. Reduce it by 5 flat protections and decrease cooldown from 15 to 13 to 14 to 12. So, okay, in exchange for 5 extra prot reductions, you're getting an extra second off cooldown, which honestly I like better. Having this on an extra second cooldown, obviously over time you're going to get more value out of this 1 second. Similarly with the 5 protection shred, but I mean I'd rather have the cooldown, honestly, in my opinion. Morgan Le Fay, consuming power, increased damage marking from 8% to 10%, increased projectile damage scaling from 40 to 45, added 50. Ooh, okay, wait, I need to look at her kit. Okay, yeah, this is what I was thinking. So you heal in your ult, but I remember it was missing health is by percentage, which can still be, you know, mitigated. But if you're telling me you're also adding flat healing, and it's just saying added, that's pretty good. That's really good. So you're doing even more damage and you're healing even more in her ult. So that's pretty good. That might be a sleeper one, adding some healing like that, especially when it's leveled up all the way, 130 per hit plus, if I'm reading this right, plus the extra 6.5 maximum. I mean, that's pretty good. Baba Yaga, my girl. Blast off, increased damage mitigation from 25 to 35 to 35%. Oh, thank God. Now, this isn't like the most craziest thing about Baba that you're looking at, but making it to, because you're not leveling up your 3. Your 3 is your last ability to level up. And so you're not getting your full damage mitigation until you get level 20. So now that you get 35% at all ranks, that is pretty nice. More incentive to not level up your 3. And your 3 does surprisingly a large amount of damage. So that's also another thing too. But that is really good. I like that change. Increased shield health scaling from 25 to 30% of her power. So an extra 5% of her power, and she's going to get more shield, which is really nice. We're playing Baba more. Baba is my go-to mage. was Kernos. Heavy glue. Ooh, he's getting a big buff. Big buff. No one's really playing Kernos either. I think he's like a okay hunter. Heavy glaive, increased damage from 25% to 30% of his basic attack damage, so he's doing more damage in his autos. Bramble blast, increased damage from 55 to 195 to 65 to 205, a little bit more damage. Horn charge, decreased cooldown from 7 to 13 to 15 to 13. So earlier on in the game, you're going to have this up, which also makes sense because you're not leveling this up for the most part either. At least your first ability, you're not leveling it up most likely. So this gives more incentive not to level it up earlier in the game. Don't think it's going to bring him back too much, but small changes are good. Yolmanganda, last but not least. Basic attacks. Decrease rate at which Jormungandr's basic attack frequency slows down by roughly 30%. If I'm reading that, decrease rate at which Jormungandr's basic attack frequency slows down by... Okay, so you're going to be autoing a lot more, it seems as though. Bring out your ring builds. Might have more value now. But basically, if you don't know, there's like a little circle that goes around Jormungandr's autos. And because he doesn't have regular autos and he throws out his breath, it makes it to where like the more you hold on to your autos, the quicker the circle goes down, and the more your circle goes down, the less fire rate you have, so it gets slowed down more. Now it's 30% less, meaning you're going to be able to do it a lot more, holding down your autos a lot more, while not having the deficit of you losing that attack speed slow reduction thing that goes on. You know what I mean if you play Jormungandr. Venomous Haze, decreased mana cost from 60 to 80 to 50 to 70, which is nice. Just 10 overall, meaning you're going to be able to throw out more abilities. And the World Serpent, decreased from 100 to 90. Jormungandr, I think, was already in a good spot. Just in these small changes make him even better, so I might be playing him more. He's a very good, and I think it's kind of a sleeper guardian, damage guardian, especially in Joust. So that's pretty cool. So this one's pretty notable. Baba is notable for me. Morgan's pretty notable. Kins and Soul Reaver are really going to want to pay attention to. I think if you're not building these already, you should now. Specifically with Kins, I think Kins is actually getting a bigger buff, even though the ceiling is... I'm sorry, the floor is still exactly the same. Kins is just going to be a better item to pick up earlier, I think, now. You used to build this item like third in your slot, and I didn't think that, this patch around, I don't think it's that as great. You pick it up right around your fourth slot, counting your starter. But now that I think you pick this up third slot, so like you go your starter, Aussie, you pick your second item, and then you go straight into a Kins. And I think that's going to give you a lot more value because you'll be doing a lot more damage earlier in the game. Because tanks, very easily, tanks go over 2k health with the items that we have now. There's so many items with so much health. And specifically with Shifter Shield, only reducing its health by 50. Shield of Thorns with those things is going to be very good. Shifter Shield is another notable one, and notable in the way that it doesn't do much. 10 power and 50 health. No, that's not why you picked up Shifter Shield. You picked up Shifter Shield because it gave more defense stats than a Gauntlet of Thieves when fully stacked. It gives you more health than a Gauntlet of Thieves fully stacked. And I think it gives you more HP 5 than a Gauntlet fully stacked, on top of the fact that you have a little bit of power. So the fact that you still have 20 power / 30 power, dumb. Shield of Phoenix, Warlock Staff. So that is 11.7. I'm assuming in 11.8 they're going to realize that Shifter Shield needs a little bit more than what it gave. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. Historically, and based on previous patches, you give small tweaks to something that is very good, but not OP to the point where it's everyone in the game is building it. You make small changes to those that are very good, but you don't need to go too far. You make huge changes when you realize that every single fucking class and every single fucking god in the game is building Shifter Shield because it's just the most bloated item in the game. So getting rid of 10 power / 15 power and fucking 50 health, I don't think that's going to do shit. That's just my opinion. But yeah, again, this will be in the URL. The URL will be in the description down below. Tell me what you guys think. Maybe I missed something. I don't know about the Shifter Shield thing. I don't think I missed anything there, but if you think I did, let me know in the comment section down below. If you have any feedback, suggestions, let me know as well. Discord in the description down below if you want to get a hold of me and ask questions, join the community, all that good stuff. Tournament this week, July 26th, 5 p.m. 5 p.m. CST, 6 p.m. CST, EST. 5 p.m. CST, 6 p.m. EST is when the tournament is going down this week, July 26th. Come on out. It'll be fun. Show your support and watch some of your favorite gamers game. And I think that's it. Memberships are open. If you'd like to support me, one of the best ways to support me, $2.99 a month. If not, perfectly fine. You simply watching my video is good enough for me. But again, that is everything that I have for you. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching.